Yeah, no, you said that God has not given self-disclosure of himself in natural special revelation. So let's start with natural revelation. So you say that all things don't have a causal relation to God. How did you determine that?
How did I determine it?
Yeah, you said God has not given revelation of himself. So we're going to start with natural revelation, and then we can move on to special revelation. In Scripture, the entire world is God's canvas. It's revelatory of himself. The Bible declares that the heavens declare the glory of God. Romans 1 says people can clearly see through what has been made that there's an eternal creator who made these things. Now, you say not so. So how did you determine that nothing that you see has a causal relation with God?
I mean, they have causal relations with each other. I don't see how any of it leads back to God.
No, that's asking a question. You made an assertion. You're saying God has not given self-disclosure of himself. So that means that you are concluding that nothing that you encounter with your senses has a causal relation with God. I want to know how you determine that.
That's a difficult thing to prove. I can't prove something that I don't believe in. How would I?
No, you asserted God has not given self-disclosure of himself. That includes natural revelation. So that simply means that the apple on the counter doesn't stand in causal relations with or from God. How did you determine that?
I looked at the world and then did not conclude God. So from that, I determined that wasn't evidence.
So what you're saying is because you imagine that there's no connection with God, therefore there's no connection with God?
No, if there was a connection with God, then I would believe in God.
No, you're making an assertion. God hasn't given self-disclosure of himself. So that means that the apple does not stand in causal relations to God as the origin point. How did you determine that? You verbalizing, well, nobody has persuaded me, is simply trying to transform your proposition into a mental state. So I want to know, how did you determine that the apple doesn't stand in causal relations with God?
Because I don't currently believe in God. So if I have looked at an apple...
So if I don't believe in aliens, therefore there are no aliens? If I believe that there's no gold on Mars, therefore there's no gold on Mars?
There is no gold on Mars.
That is correct, sir.
And have you been to Mars?
Have I been to Mars?
Yeah, have you been to Mars? How did you ascertain there's no gold on Mars?
I don't believe it's gone through like the geologic processes that Earth has gone through.
So you're telling me that there is no gold on Mars because you believe there's no gold on Mars?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. So does believing something make it true? I believe God exists, so you have to accept that now.
So I mean, he doesn't though.
Well, then make your case for that. But you see, I believe God exists, therefore he exists. I'm using your logic. You don't believe there's gold on Mars, therefore there's no gold on Mars. I believe God exists, therefore God exists.
Sure. So I mean, I'm open to interpretation.
I'm using your logic. You either have to affirm your logic or you have to repudiate it. That believing something makes it actual or veridical. So if I simply believe something, period, that's okay. I just have a positive attitude that there's a state of affairs and that's all there is to it.
Right.
Therefore, it's true because I believe it.
No, I would retract that.
Good. Now you contradicted yourself.
Which is why I said I retract.
Okay. So how do you know that the apple on the counter doesn't stand in causal relations to God?
So that one I do stand by. I look at the apple, I don't believe in God, therefore not God.
No, you're committing the same error all over again.
No, you said revelation. It's natural revelation.
Okay, how did you... Okay, so if you're saying is the apple doesn't stand in causal relations because there is no God. Okay, fine. How did you determine there's no God?
So because this is talking about natural revelation for God, which is you look at the apple.
Yeah. By the way, Matt, were you done? Because I don't want to step on your conversation.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah. Good, man.
So how did you determine no creator, absolute creator God exists?
How did I determine that?
Yeah, you said the apple doesn't stand in causal relations to God because no God exists. Because you don't believe in God.
Yeah. So I haven't been contacted by God. I don't have a relationship with God. I'm not inherently aware of God.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the sun, the moon, and the stars and bunny rabbits don't stand in causal relations to God as the origin point. Okay. Now, could you tell me what the origin point for all those things are, since it's not God?
The origin point for the sun?
Yeah, God by definition would be the origin point. Right? Now, since you don't accept that...
I would say logic and reason would be the foundation.
No. So you're not understanding. Okay? Logic and reason are abstractions. What is it that is unconditionally non-dependent and provides for the existence of all dependencies, such as stars and moons and asteroids? What is it?
Basic logical laws of the universe?
No. Abstractions don't stand in causal relations.
I mean, this is like the apple example. You can have 3 apples.
Right. Well, you're not, listen, you're either you're just talking past me or not getting it. Okay. Giving me an abstraction. Logic is a function of a mind, of a consciousness, of a cognitive process. I'm asking you, what? Oh, really? Then tell me how there's logic without it being the product and exuding from a mind.
So if there was like a hypothetical universe, and that universe only was just our solar system, and there were, say, 3 planets instead of the many that we have,
you couldn't say that. There's no mind to know it.
Right.
There would be 3 planets in that universe.
No, there wouldn't be that, but there would be no mind to know it.
No statement can be made about it.
Yeah. And how would you? Yeah, you're not understanding your fundamental error.
You just said
so here's the point. Here's the point. Okay.
Well, no, you just asserted that. My position is that there would be.
You're not understanding. Okay. When you say there's no absolute creator God, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to have to tell me what then is the causal origin. What is it that is fundamentally absolute and unconditionally non-dependent that provides for all other states of affairs? What is it?
Laws.
Now, the laws of logic are abstractions about entities. Okay, entities are either an entity is either fundamentally absolute and unconditionally non-dependent, or its derivative. Okay, the laws of logic are abstractions about entities. That doesn't tell me what the fundamental entity is that is unconditionally non-dependent and provides for all dependency states of entities. So what is it? Since it's not God, what is it?
I mean, it sounds like you just described the laws of logic by saying...
No, you're not understanding this. Do you want me to go through it again? The laws of logic are abstractions about the nature of entities.
Saying the laws of logic. You're saying the laws of logic brought the universe into being.
No, I don't.
Okay, then that's not your ultimate one. Then yeah, I mean, that's your location of ultimate.
I don't think that the universe got brought into being. Yes.
Okay. Well, okay, good. So the universe is that which is unconditionally non-dependent?
The universe.
The universe?
I would say the universe.
Is the universe unconditionally non-dependent?
Unconditionally non-dependent.
Yeah. And if we reference any entity, an entity will either be unconditionally non-dependent or it'll be dependent. It'll be derivative.
Can you give me an example?
An example of something that's unconditionally non-dependent? God.
Can you give me an example of something that is conditionally dependent?
Something is conditionally dependent? The moon.
And the moon is conditionally dependent upon God.
Yes. Everything that begins to exist is derivative and dependent upon God, the unconditionally non-dependent absolute.
Okay, so then I mean that same definition that you apply to God, I apply to the universe and the laws of.
Okay, so the universe is the set of all of the objects in the time-space continuum. So is the moon? So did the moon begin to exist?
No.
The moon always existed.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's kind of funny because do you believe in the second law of thermodynamics? Do you believe everything is moving? Do you believe that everything is moving in a closed system? Everything is moving from order to disorder?
I'm not sure.
Well, then if you're not sure, why did you say the moon was unconditionally non-dependent?
Because it's a part of the universe.
No. You might conceive that there is something that is unconditionally non-dependent that began the universe. But when you say the universe is itself unconditionally non-dependent, if you believe the Earth began to exist, then the universe, the Earth is not. Do you believe stars began to exist?
So,
do you believe that our star, our sun, and all other stars have always existed?
So I believe. Do you know what the B theory of time?
Yes, I do.
So that's what I believe in. So in a sense, yes.
Okay, so then everything is illusory then.
How do you mean by
that? Well, because in the B theory of time, temporal becoming is illusory. It's false. So what you're thinking and experiencing is false. Temporal becoming.
Why would you classify it as false?
Because temporal becoming
characterization.
Well, I'll explain it to you. Because temporal becoming is a contradiction to the B theory of time.
Break down or unpack temporal becoming.
Temporal becoming. The Eiffel Tower. If the Eiffel Tower came into existence, and if tomorrow they dismantle it, it will go out of existence. Okay. Now.
Sure. It would still be there.
Right. No. The Eiffel Tower could go out of existence. Did the Eiffel Tower always exist?
In the region of space-time where it exists, yes.
No,
for all of eternity.
In the region of space-time. So the Eiffel Tower. So do you understand on the B theory of time, the Eiffel Tower can exist and not exist?
Not in the same place.
No, in the B theory of time. Not in the same place, but they. So the temporal becoming is an illusion then. So you can't talk about anything temporal becoming. So how did you determine that everything has always existed?
I don't see any other way that. But I mean, ultimately, if you're asking me,
the God of the Bible exists because I don't see any other way.
Which is what you say before. Which again gets us to.
See, you're wrong. You're wrong because I don't see any other way than the God of the Bible existing. So you're wrong.
Right, which gets us to parity. I say you're wrong. You say I'm wrong. So
but you don't. No, but you're not understanding. You don't accept my logic, do you? I mean, you're just giving me these terrible cliches.
You use your logic against you, dude, because you just threw the same standard you gave.
Why does anything? Okay. So why does anything exist at all?
Why does anything exist?
Why does the block of time exist at all? In the B theory of time, you have block time. Mm-hmm. Why does it even exist at all?
I don't have an answer for that.
Oh, okay. So in other words, your criterion is you don't believe in God because God's not rationally justified, but you believe in that the universe is block time and all moments in time equal. They just simply exist, but you don't have a reason for that. So you're violating your own principle that you use to reject the God of the Bible. So your position is incoherent on your own terms.
Run through that one more time for me, please.
You reject the God of the Bible because the God of the Bible is not rationally justified, right?
Yes. When I run it through my processes in my brain, it doesn't make sense to me.
What's the rational justification that the universe exists eternally and all moments in time equally exist. What's your rational justification for that? By what means were you able to determine that?
By what means was I able to determine that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you determine that's an actual state or veridical?
So that's how I experienced it, I guess.
So you experience all moments in time? And by the way, that would be fallacious too, because experience involves temporal becoming. So you just contradicted your view on block time.
I don't know that that's true.
Experience entails temporal becoming. That there's actual things come into and go out of existence.
Or all your experiences.
And that experience entails that there are relations between events, but there are no relations between events. So when you talk about experiences, you're contradicting your own system.